once again. I don't know. Well, I know some stuff about Unicron, besides the point of, well, he's Unicron, the Dark God Unicron. He has come to eat everything. He is an all-devourable plant-size. I think I had the toy of him actually at one point. So how should I put this? I don't know where I put it. I'm pretty sure it was an old toy. It was a big toy, yeah.
I remember some of the Transformers. Actually, I had to remember all the ones that you had. I remember one that was like a planet,
Yeah, that's
and
Unicron.
it was a giant. Oh, then I had I had like a couple versions of him, but they were huge.
If it's a blue one, then it was Primus. If it's an orange one, it was Unicron.
Well, then I had Primus and Unicron.
Oh.
One was bigger. It was about the size of a beach ball.
That's probably Primus, considering he's an actual planet, while Unicron's more of a moon. Anyway, I am very bribable when it comes to stuff. I will tell you guys that right now. I am very bribable, so if you want to get me to watch a certain video, I don't know.
Yeah, pay him the big numbers.
Or go to the throne and buy me one of the many Transformer toys or stuff that I put over there. I am very bribable. Yeah. But yeah, anyway, we're going to head into this video about Unicron is what I wanted to get into. And I know he was voiced by Orson Welles at one point. I think in the original movie.
Isn't one of them, one of the Transformers, toys also a space station?
I think so. They have had a lot of different toys. That's why I'm learning.
I remember one was a robot.
This week's episode is sponsored by Collective
turned into a space station.
And they don't come much bigger than this one. The Chaos Bringer, the World Eater, the Monster Planet, Unicron.
The Monster Planet.
Unicron was created as the arch-villain of 1986's
He has a very powerful presence.
The movie. A giant transforming metal planet that sought to devour all life in the universe.
Yeah.
Possessed of vast cosmic powers, often used to empower lesser beings who would serve him as his heralds, Unicron's only weakness was the Autobot matrix of leadership. Known during production first as simply the Entity, and then later Ingestor before his name was finalized, Unicron was, like the rest of the movie's new characters, designed by artist Floro Deary. Prototypes for a Unicron toy were created based on Deary's artwork, but the figure was ultimately scrapped and never saw release.
I did not have this one, that's for sure.
Set in the year 2005, the movie saw Unicron set his sights on consuming the Transformers' homeworld, Cybertron. To eliminate the threat posed by the Matrix, he used his powers to reformat Decepticon leader Megatron into Galvatron and sent him to destroy it. But Galvatron rebelled, enabling Autobot leader Rodimus Prime to open the Matrix inside Unicron, destroying him from within. The film concluded with Unicron's severed head settling into orbit around Cybertron, and it remained there in the subsequent third season of the Transformers animated series. In the course of the season, it was discovered that Unicron still functioned, and the Autobots had to thwart his attempt to use Cybertron itself as a new body. While the movie had given no hint of Unicron's origins or motives, the cartoon explained that he was the rebellious creation of an alien scientist named Primacron, who had built him to scour the galaxy of life, leaving it a blank slate on which Primacron could experiment.
Okay, I prefer the stories where he's an actual, like, god. Because that makes more sense than just a one dude being able to create a giant planet transformer. At least to me. That's my just 2 cents in there, though.
His debut in the movie, Unicron's voice was provided by cinematic legend Orson Welles.
Well, not one person can make it. If one person made it, that person's also a giant. No, I'm sorry.
You either need a lot of time and a lot of resources, or you have to be very big. Yeah. Also, yeah, he was voiced by Orson Welles. The only thing I know from him is a few clips from The Critic. Hello, I'm Orson
You
Welles.
know, my brain just randomly got this.
Uh,
You know, what's it called? The Planet Construction Company and what's it called?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
It's based off a book, and like
No.
in the middle of it, like Earth is destroyed in the first part of it, and then
Hi, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy?
yes, that one, the thing where they create planets and like the Planet Factory. I just imagine like someone just creating Galvin like Unicron and like that.
Hmm. That's
To
weird.
the world,
Wells.
they are gigantic beings, and they just make him like click on a factory assembly.
But for his appearances in the cartoon, Roger
We
C.
can create a
Carmel took over
gigantic
the role.
planet from our little tiny workshop. I am that Furman. That's what does
Oh.
my mind.
He does
Person
very
who made
well.
Unicrons like that.
Sweetie, you're going on a tangent.
I can't help my brain.
But yeah, he does sound a lot like Orson Welles here.
The movie was hugely influential on the Marvel Transformers comic published in the United Kingdom, for which writer Simon Furman crafted original stories that followed on from the film's events, unconnected to the cartoon. 1988's The Legacy of Unicron revealed that in the comics continuity, rather than enter Cybertron's orbit, Unicron's head had been flung to the planet of Junk, where he mentally enslaved the native Junkions to build him a new body. For this story, Furman crafted a very different origin for the comic book version of Unicron. No mere robot, he was a dark god, a primordial being of chaos from the beginning of time, who was the enemy of all life. Long ago, Unicron's nemesis, Primus, the god of light, had sought to end their eternal enmity by trapping them both within asteroids. But over time, Unicron had used his powers to reshape his asteroid into the robotic planet seen in the film.
Cool.
Primus, meanwhile, reshaped his asteroid into Cybertron, through which he gave birth to the Transformers and created the Matrix to house his power, explaining why Unicron wanted to destroy Cybertron and why the Matrix was so harmful to him. The story ended with Rodimus Prime trapping Unicron's evil life force within the Matrix,
That sounds
where it would remain
dangerous.
to haunt Rodimus for the remainder of the series.
Yeah, no, that sounds like a bad idea.
Soon after, Furman took over writing the American comic book and immediately introduced Unicron and Primus into its pages, retelling the origin from the UK comic and creating a brand new climactic Unicron storyline for the series. Set in the then present day of 1990 rather than the future seen in the movie, the saga culminated in Optimus Prime using the Matrix to destroy the Chaos Bringer.
Nice.
Fans quickly came to consider the comic book's cosmic origin for Unicron superior to the cartoons, and it would become the template that the vast majority of depictions of Unicron would be based on for several decades. Unicron enjoyed a few cameos in the 1990s animated series Beast Wars.
As I will always mention, we've been watching Beast Wars over on the Patreon.
Famously, when the alien Vok briefly adopted his form. But his first true return to television took place in the Japanese-exclusive Beast Wars cartoons. 1998's Beast Wars 2nd introduced a mysterious energy known as Anglemois, found on post-apocalyptic Earth by Predacon Commander Galvatron. 1999's Beast Wars Neo revealed that this energy was...
Okay, I gotta ask the people down below, would you ever want to see us watch this over on the Patreon? Because I just want to watch it, I just want to know for future reference. I wouldn't be against it. I mean, it might be a little hard to find, but I'd be willing to see it. Looks interesting.
Was in fact the destroyed Unicron's disembodied life force. Reunited by his servants the Blentrons, Unicron's life force possessed Galvatron and launched an attack on Cybertron, almost turning the planet itself into his new body, until he was purged by Big Convoy and his Matrix Buster.
Oh.
A new Unicron toy was designed for the Beast Wars
Oh,
Neo
damn.
toy line, but just as in Generation 1, it was never released, never getting past the prototype stage.
So where did I get that toy from?
It wouldn't be until 2003
Ah,
that
yeah.
Unicron would finally be
This is the toy I had. I'm not even kidding. This specific one. Look up dubs on YouTube. They subbed the entirety of Beast Wars 2 and Neo. Wow. Thanks for reference of that. If you can shoot me a link, we might be able to watch it. It's crazy.
Immortalized in toy form as the 16-inch tall crown jewel of the Transformers Armada
It was a big
line.
toy. I don't know
This
why
new
my
series
parents got
came
me
with
it.
a new origin for Unicron. Here, he and Primus were a pair of transforming robotic planets created at the dawn of time by an extra-dimensional entity known as the One, for the purpose of
One.
exploring the universe.
It was a
only
big
for the
toy.
power-hungry Unicron to turn to evil. The
wonder if I
Armada
still
animated
have
series
it
saw
somewhere.
Unicron strike at the Transformers subtly. In the distant past, he disguised himself as Cybertron's moon and secretly created from his own body the Minicons,
Yeah, I
tiny
remember
power-enhancing robots who
remember
the
the
Transformers
toy line.
went to war
Yeah, I
to
watched it as
possess,
a little
allowing the hibernating Unicron to psychically feed on the hatred and aggression of their conflict. In the final arc of the series, subtitled The Unicron Battles, Unicron was awakened to destroy Cybertron by his
Yeah.
servant Sideways, but was defeated when the Minicons turned on him and the Autobots and Decepticons laid down their arms, thereby depriving Unicron of the hatred that powered him.
Oh.
Unicron's
Cool.
appearance in Armada marked the beginning of a major resurgence for the character, who went on to be involved in almost every major piece of Transformers media for the next several
Interesting.
years. Multiple toy lines, cartoons, comic books, and more. Most prominently, Armada's two direct sequels, 2004's Transformers Energon and
Yeah.
2005's Transformers Cybertron,
I
the
remember
three
this.
series together collectively known as the Unicron Trilogy.
Yep.
Energon revolved around the Autobots' struggle to prevent the Decepticons from repairing Unicron's deactivated body, represented by a re-release of his Armada toy with a new black color scheme.
Did not know they were
Megatron sought to use the Chaos Bringer as a weapon, but the repaired Unicron wound up possessing the Decepticon leader until he was destroyed following a
course.
titanic battle with a Primus-empowered Optimus Prime. This led into Cybertron, in which the destruction of Unicron resulted in the formation of a colossal black hole
kinda-
that threatened to consume the universe. Unicron himself did not appear in the Cybertron cartoon, the remains of his body having been forged into a powerful armor by Megatron. But a new, smaller Unicron toy with an alien tank
Interesting.
alternate mode
But
was
it's interesting that Unicron is basically the focus of this entire series. It's very crazy to me.
released in the Cybertron toy line. It was featured in the tie-in comic published by the Transformers Collectors Club, created when Unicron's servant Soundwave recovered his master's spark from within the black hole and implanted it within the planet Yist, which Unicron
Yist.
corrupted and fed upon to generate a new body for himself. It was during the Unicron Trilogy years that the 2004 guidebook, Transformers The Ultimate Guide, dramatically changed the way that fans thought of Unicron. Building upon ideas introduced in both the Armada comic book and 2003's Transformers universe, which both depicted Unicron as having the power to move between dimensions, the book made the bold declaration that across all the different infinite Transformers universes, there was only one Unicron,
Oh,
a
this thing
single
again.
being who actually
like this.
traveled from dimension to dimension.
Decided to make 3 shows connected, considering in Japan they're all there. Really? I honestly think they work as 3 shows all connected. I don't know. It is kind of interesting that they were
Devouring
separate
them as he
originally by
went.
Japan.
Despite their different origin stories, the Unicrons seen in the movie, the comics, the cartoons, they were all the same being, a multiversal singularity, a
How does
fundamental
that
cosmic
work?
force who embodied the concept of evil itself, just as Primus embodied good. Unicron took a back seat for the remainder of the 2000s, appearing scarcely and noticeably absent from many of the major
They're
new
also meant to connect studios. Sorry to chicken out at the last second. try and fix the damage they did in their own way they could. Oh, damn.
New Transformers series that premiered during this time. It wasn't until 2011 that he returned for his next big
Unicron.
mainstream role in the Transformers Prime animated series.
His
But
big
his
horn
comeback
shoulders.
came with a caveat. Not wanting to be constrained by the rules of past stories, Hasbro specifically stated that the Unicron seen in Prime was not the same as the multiversal singularity
writers
from
don't
other
really
stories.
like restraints like that.
Subsequent material from the Collectors Club offered various quantum mechanics gobbledygook explanations to
Yeah.
justify this, but the cracks were now showing in the concept's workability, and eventually the club officially retired the idea in a 2015 story that saw Nexus Prime use the power of the Star Saber to eliminate singularities from existence.
Good.
This made it so that every universe's version of Unicron was its own distinct entity again, free to be depicted however creators liked. And indeed, Transformers Prime presented one of the most dramatic new takes on Unicron yet. His shadow hung over the series from the outset in the form of Dark Energon, an addictive, unholy energy source formed from Unicron's very blood that could even reanimate the dead.
Horrifying.
More shocking, however, was the revelation that following his defeat at the hands of Primus in ancient times, Unicron's dormant body had become the Earth itself.
Wait, what?
Revived in the present
Like, I
day
saw
by a
this from the
planetary
weird
alignment,
movies, but-
Unicron's reawakening threatened to wipe out humankind. So Optimus Prime fought his way through avatars of Unicron
That's a
created
lot
from
of
out
them.
of the Earth itself to reach the planet's core and unleash the power of the Matrix, forcing the Chaos Bringer back into dormancy.
Nice.
Unicron awoke once more in the series finale, this time possessing Megatron to attack Cybertron with a legion of reanimated Predacons. But he was defeated for good when Optimus imprisoned his disembodied spark. Hasbro would only release a toy of the possessed Megatron, but a figure that
Yeah, it was
transformed
on there for a
from
couple
elemental
times.
avatar to volcano spaceship
What
was
is
released
that?
exclusively in Japan.
What is that? That's not an object. That is a gobbledygook thing.
The concept of Unicron as Earth would also be featured in the 2017 live-action
this is
movie
what I heard.
The Last Night, though he remained dormant throughout the film. With the future of the movies currently up in the air, it remains to be seen if the live-action Unicron's threat will ever truly be brought to life. These days, Unicron's back to making pretty regular appearances in Transformers media of all stripes, and his Armada toy has even been retooled, recolored, and re-released several times. Notable appearances in 2018 included his possession of Hot Rod in Machinima's Power of the Primes cartoon, and his major role in a self-titled 6-issue comic book miniseries from IDW Publishing that brought the company's Transformers comic book universe to an end.
Interesting.
IDW's Unicron in particular was another radical reinvention. He began life as the planet Antilla, which had been left a dead husk after it was ravaged by Cybertronian colonizers in the ancient past.
I see.
A talisman created by an Antillan scientist brought the dead Antilla back to life as a weapon of retribution to exact revenge upon the Transformer race. Mystically driven by the dead scientist's spirit, Unicron consumed every
This is like that one
Cybertronian
version of
colony
Godzilla.
and even succeeded in destroying Cybertron itself. He was only stopped when Optimus Prime sacrificed his life to confront and make peace with the scientist's spirit and used the
That
very
is something
talisman that had
Optimus would
created
do.
Unicron to destroy him. His iconic role in the movie, matched with the cosmic concepts Simon Furman added to his story, have ensured that whatever his precise origins, Unicron will always be remembered as the ultimate
always gonna be part
all-consuming
of it.
evil in the world of the Transformers.
Yeah.
Though the forces of good may triumph over him, like evil, Unicron is eternal and ever-present, just
Unicron
waiting
is
for his
eternal.
chance to rise again.
Oh,
And those are the basics on...
okay, so what I'm going to say is I just like the name all around, also Unicron, because it is a very fitting name for a giant monster planet, at least to me. But I want to ask you guys, what do you guys actually think of Unicron? I mean, like, do you guys actually like the version where he's, like, was made by scientists? I don't. I like that it was the force of someone's spirit, but that's more making it mystical. I prefer when the giant planet robots are more mystical. Anyway, that's more or less just my take on the matter. But I should look into some more stuff. I did see one new animated series I need to look into. But what other Transformer stuff do you want us to watch? What things do you want us to look at over on the Patreon? Support me over there if you want to see more and more and more. And yeah, Fable's been doing a lot of Transformer stuff, and it's always good to see him going. But yes, I will see you all later. Take care of yourselves, and be good to yourselves. Also, like, comment, subscribe, just so I can remember. I wish I saw more of him in a recent Transformer movie. Yeah, that's understandable. There, guys.